we believe that there are levels in sharing secrets. Now, tonight we're going to be talking about secrets in regards to romantic relationships, or people particularly that are married or that are in committed relationships, and not those that are just dating, because you don't divulge a lot of information or secrets when you're dating. What you gonna come like, hey, what's up? Yeah,
on your first date,
right? Here's my past. I used to be a stripper.
like,
you know,
because I slept with like 17 dudes.
No, we're not talking about that. But we're talking about
his business,
right? But we're talking about people that are in committed relationships, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
So I do believe that everyone has secrets.
Everybody.
To a certain extent, everyone has something that they're not willing to share.
Right.
For whatever reason.
Right.
It's okay. I do understand that some things you just don't want to share with that person.
Right.
And it's okay to be private about certain things.
Right. So what are secrets? Do you have a definition pretty much of secrets of what it is?
So secrets are things that are not known and things that you don't want to make known in a relationship or to a person or anything like that. You kind of want to keep it. You don't want to share it with others. It's something that you just want to keep.
Right. So it's hidden
yourself.
pretty much. A secret is something that's pretty much behind a closed door, or it's hidden.
Yeah, it's like behind the veil.
Right. It's behind that thing that hasn't been exposed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So I have a question for you guys that are with us tonight. Why do you think people hold secrets in their relationships?
Oh, that's a good
I'm going to ask that question again, and I want you guys to comment in the comment section.
Okay, I'm going to read these comments.
Why do you think people hold secrets in relationships? Let's talk about it tonight. Let's talk about it.
Why do you guys think people keep secrets in their relationships?
Yes, and as you guys are typing, we're going to talk about, in a few, we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why people hold secrets. But we want to get you guys input, or just your ideas on why do you think people hold secrets, or why are you holding secrets in your relationships? Insecurities, Jeremiah, that's very good.
Past hurt from revealing it.
Absolutely. That's very good.
Yeah.
Gabby said, what is, I can't really see that.
Fear of rejection. Absolutely.
Don't want to hurt the other person. Absolutely.
Don't want to hurt the other person. Yes.
Right. Absolutely.
But sometimes when we think that, we actually end up hurting ourselves more than we hurt the other person.
Right. Past hurts. Judy says because they hold how things were.
Scared of the other person's reaction.
I cannot see
that
this really
is so
good. Read Judy's comment. I cannot see that right.
They don't think it's your business.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Can you read that comment?
Exactly.
I cannot see. Judy's comment is right there on the
Where's
screen.
Judy's comment?
I cannot see, guys, so forgive me.
I don't see Judy.
Right here on the screen. Right there on the screen. Can you see that?
Oh, because they hold how things were reacted to by the prior mate.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, that's true.
Quay
That's true.
said fear.
Fear,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yes, and like Judy said, you could be basing it on how the previous person responded to whatever it is you had to share. And you're not really basing it on whom you're in a relationship with now, but you're basing it on your previous experiences, which could lead you down a dark path, because the way that person handled it may not be the same way the other person handles it, right?
Right. We have a few more, baby. We can't, and unfortunately, we won't be able to get to everybody, but we will definitely try. June says lack of true intimacy. Yes. To not hurt the other person. That's right, Bim.
That's right.
Not wanting to be judged from your past. Absolutely, Sharice.
David says secrets will cause irreparable damage and loss of trust.
Yes, absolutely. Lack of trust.
Hey,
Gabby.
Erica.
Absolutely. Jeremiah says sometimes people are just shady.
Sometimes people are just shady, Jeremiah, and they just don't want to share with you. Period.
Right.
But that's a different case, though, right?
Yeah.
Because those are not just secrets that people are holding.
Right.
That's a whole nother level.
Absolutely. And we have one more here. Shamir said they think that they know how the other person is going to react and feel they can't tell them.
Wow.
Absolutely. That's very good. And these are
good.
Very good,
all of those
accurate.
Good.
Absolutely.
All of those were good.
Comments, because they're all true. They're all true.
Yep.
And
I agree.
like they say, divulging certain information is not always easy to do.
Right.
For those reasons that they've actually put in the comment sections. So we want to share just a few ideas and a few reasons why people hold secrets. One is that people feel that it's irrelevant or it's not important for their spouse or their partner to know. They actually belittle these things. You know, it could be something in their past or whatever it might be that they feel that it had nothing to do with that person. Therefore, it's not important for me to disclose that information. You know, so they could be irrelevant to them, right? Or they might think, you know what? Why I don't. This is something that was in my past to where I don't. It has nothing to do with you, so I don't think that it's relevant to what we have right now. Right. Yep. And the other one, babe.
Or it can be embarrassing. It can be something that causes such great shame that you don't feel like it's a safe place for you to divulge that information because it's something that's shameful. It's something that's embarrassing. It's something that may cause them to look at you differently. Right. So that's a reason why sometimes we don't, share certain things with certain people.
Right. Shame. And it can hurt people's egos.
Oh, yeah.
It can hurt your character. Or people may feel that I don't really want to share this with the person that I'm with because of the fear of being judged.
Yep.
And it can hurt my reputation, because all of us have a past, and I know that a lot of you are wonderful people out there. We got great people. And a lot of you in this comment sections, it's not a secret. We're Christians. We go to church. We love God, the whole nine. But the reality is that all of us had a past.
We all have a past.
And all of us had to dig ourselves out of some of these situations, if you will, that we were in before. So the third thing is the reason why you hold these things inside is because it can be very detrimental to your current relationship.
Yeah.
You know, and that can be a really, really, really sensitive thing because there's some things that you might feel that you want to disclose. However, you might believe that thing can actually destroy what you have built.
It can break what you built, right?
Right.
You can have established something so good, right? So really good, and then you feel like, man, but if I share this one thing,
right,
it could be the tear that destroys us, right?
Right.
Because I don't share something.
Right.
And I remember when Steve and I first got together and we had shared so many things. And actually we were already married at this point, right? And we were kind of just talking about some things. And I remember I omitted a truth. I didn't share something with him that I probably should have shared because for me, it was irrelevant. It didn't mean anything. It didn't have any stronghold on me. It wasn't something that I felt like, I need to share with him. But when he asked me, I kind of just like swept it under the rug, like, no, whatever.
Right.
And I didn't really give him the truth because it didn't matter to me. Not realizing that it was something that could affect him or could cloud his judgment or could make him feel a certain way.
Right. So it was pretty much irrelevant. You deemed it as not being
for me, it was
serious.
Very irrelevant.
Right.
And so it wasn't serious enough for me to share with him.
Right.
But it was something that could have been serious to him.
Right.
And by me omitting that truth, I hid a secret.
Right.
And
And
how did that make you feel?
It made it, you know what? It was a little painful, not that painful because it wasn't anything that big, but like, because that thing that was small to you was huge to me.
Right.
And that's for everybody out there that's here. You need to know that it might not mean anything to you, but it can mean everything to the person that you're committing yourself to. And ultimately it can ruin your relationship.
Yeah, and we have to give that person the choice, right?
Right.
We do. We have to consider that other person and say, hey, it is their choice. If I give them this information and they react this way, that's their choice.
Right.
But if I give them this information and they react the other way, that's still their choice. And
Absolutely.
we have to be willing to give that person the opportunity to choose, right?
Right.
Because when we don't share, sometimes we take that opportunity away from people, and that's not fair.
Right. And here's a fact, and this is a question, for everybody out there, like, should the skeletons that you have in your closet remain, or could do they have the potential to wake up and haunt you one day? Right? So that's the question that you need to ask yourself. If you have secrets in your relationships, and some of them aren't necessary for you to share or divulge or to put on the person, because a lot of things because you have current secrets, right? And you have past secrets, and a lot of the past things has nothing to do with them, but that's the question. Could it actually come back and bite you in the butt? Ooh. Could it actually come back and ruin what you've built? Right. Because you may deem it as being irrelevant, but what if that thing come back on you? Could it destroy everything that you worked hard for?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I remember hearing a story from a couple, and they were telling us about a time where they were happily married, or what they thought they were happily married, and some years down the line, they got a knock on their door, and it was a woman standing there with a baby that said, "Hey, yeah, this is yours."
Right.
Right. And it was that baby occurred during the time where they were seriously dating.
Oh, wow. That's even worse.
And
right.
That was a skeleton that came out of that man's closet, and it came to bite him in the butt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he didn't share that information at that time, because they weren't married. It wasn't that serious. Right. We hadn't said I do just yet. Right. But now here you are. You said I do. It's 5 years later, 6 years later, and you get a knock at the door, and there's a woman standing there and saying, "Hey, this is your baby." Yeah. During the time that you were with your wife. You were with your significant other.
Right. And even, babe, even if it's prior to that, like, and we're going to get into like maybe some of the things that you should share, because some things, it ain't none of your business. Some things,
there are some things that are not your business.
And I know, unfortunately, sometimes with our insecurities, we dig.
Yes.
We dig. We'll ask certain questions, certain personal questions. And that's not because we're just trying to pick and trying to find things too, and that's
why do you think people do that though? Like, why do people dig and dig and dig? Do they really want to know, or is it something in them that's so insecure that they feel like that information is going to make a difference? Right. Like, I don't understand. What do you think? Why
I think at the top of the list is insecurity. I think that's the number one. That's the root cause. Is that we always looking to be affirmed.
Right.
So men will ask certain questions, and I'm gonna be honest. Men will sometimes say, okay, ask questions like how many lovers you had, right? Mm-hmm. Then they'll get to dig and say, okay, was he better than me? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So certain questions actually reveal what's on the inside of us,
right? And
sometimes we dig because we want to be affirmed, and we have a level of insecurity to where we really don't want to know, and sometimes you want to know. Yes,
Shamir said, all I know is if you're going to keep a secret, be sure that you're the only one who knows about it, and you will never, ever bring it up.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
That is so true.
Yes.
That is so very true. And Brandy said, yes, they are insecure, which is very true. That is usually the reason why someone continues to dig and dig and dig. Because it's like, what is this information doing for you? Like, I don't understand. Why do you continue to ask for something? And then when I give it to you, what is it doing for you? Like, what is it doing for your insides? I don't understand. Why do you want to know? Why is this vital to what we are getting ready to build? If it has nothing to do with you. If it has absolutely nothing to do with you, nothing to do with the group of people that you've ever been involved with, or nothing to do with anything that may concern you, why do you need to know?
Right. And we have a few more, babe. Can you read
Go
those?
ahead.
A few more comments. Cherie said, asking questions, knowing they can't handle the truth.
Knowing they can't handle the truth.
Absolutely.
Knowing that it's going to break you. It is.
Right.
It's not okay.
Okay,
and then let's see.
PB there.
Oh, PB said this is a very delicate topic. In navigating these kind of things, you really need the wisdom of God.
Absolutely.
God honestly has to be measured against overreaching effect and impact on every person that will be affected.
Absolutely.
For real. It really does, because if me being honest isn't good enough, then what are you asking for?
Right.
Because if it's going to change the way you feel about me, and you already made up in your mind, if I say this, it's going to change the way you feel about me, then what's the point of you asking, right? What's the point of me in giving you the information?
Right.
For me, that's my truth.
Yeah, let's read one more, baby, if you don't mind. We'll move on. This is very good, guys. This is very good dialogue.
Toya says some have malicious intentions, and you need to be careful when telling. You do.
Absolutely.
Is that person trustworthy?
And for those that are just now coming into to date night, this is pretty much we're targeting people that are in marital relationships as well as monogamous long-term relationships. Now we're talking about people that got some skin in the game.
Yes.
Because
Toya, is that person trustworthy, and is that person invested in me?
Right.
Because if I tell you something and you're really not invested in me, why did I just give you that information?
Right.
Like now I just gave you some information that you shouldn't even have been privy to, and you just ran on with it. Like I could have kept that.
Right.
That's something I didn't have to share.
Right.
But if I give you that information and you're trustworthy and you're invested in this, then I trust that the information that I share with you, you're going to analyze it, you're going to think on it, and you're going to make a heart decision.
Right.
You're not going to just, I don't know, decide that, oh, no, we done because you could have told me. When really I didn't really have to. I'm sharing this because you're important enough for me to share this with, because I'm invested enough to share this with you.
And there, like we said, there are levels to this. There's a thing called information and there's a thing called interrogation.
Yes.
Right. And some things it isn't relevant, period, to share with somebody that you're dating.
Right.
But if you're getting into a monogamous or more importantly, a marital relationship with somebody, a lot of things we need to ask, or the things that in our past we need to ask ourselves, will these things, do they have a great potential to ruin what we have? For example, if you know that you have a lot of debt.
Brandy, that's good, Brandy. I just read your comment. That's really good.
Think about it. If you have you made the comment about a guy that might had a baby, right in the middle of his relationship. However, there are people out there that 10 years before they've been in a marital relationship with you, they have a potential out there.
Right.
And they might have somebody. So there's certain things you should share, which we're going to get in a second. But you definitely you gotta actually ask yourself, like, should I share this information? Is it relevant to my current relationship? Could it actually hinder what I'm trying to build? Could it come back and burn me?
Right.
Of course, all of us have skeletons. All of us have things that we've dealt with. Some stuff we're going to go to the grave with. But some things that they're going to come back. Like they're like, for instance, if you got a bad credit, like, yeah, girl, I got you're going to marry me? Yeah, I'll marry you. But you find out that he's $50,000 in debt.
Right.
Because
you can't go buy a house.
Right. Or you find
out you can't go buy a car.
Right. Or you find out the woman that you're dating, she used to be a hooker.
Oh, yeah.
And people might say that has nothing to do with you. Hold on, certain things we should have a conversation about, so you can give me an opportunity to choose. Yeah. Oh, I was a man in my past life.
Ooh.
Oh, really? I was on drugs.
Oh yeah.
I used to steal. Or I have a long track record. Or I was in prison before. So there are a lot of things.
Those are things that you definitely have to. You have to share, especially
Absolutely.
like different addictions and stuff like that. And I know you just brought that up, but addictions is something that we have to share with someone.
Right.
Because if all of a sudden, say you clean for 10 years, say you clean for 20 years, and we go through a rough patch, right?
Yeah.
Financially, we're strapped. Our relationship is down in the dumps. We having a hard time. And then all of a sudden,
everything that you built.
Every single thing, you start noticing that checks are bouncing, or the lights being cut off, but you said you paid it, or you know what I'm saying, or the car being repoed and you said you paid it.
Right.
And then you discover that this person has another issue that they never told you about.
Right. Or babe, even the topic of relationships. Like, you might think the guy that you dated in the past has nothing to do with your current relationship, which is true. However, if that guy that you dated in the past was your husband's cousin.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a hard thing, an easy thing to disclose or to say or admit. However, there are tough things that we have to kind of deal with. Even if it was before us, I think that it's important for us to, before our relationship, I know it's hard, secrets, I have things that I'll probably go to the grave with, and it has nothing to do with you. But I'm saying it's not easy,
But are you being secretive,
yes,
or are you keeping a secret? Because there's a difference.
Yes.
There's a really big difference.
There's a difference.
Someone that's being secretive is intentionally withholding something from you.
Right.
Someone that has a secret just don't feel like you're privy to that information. It's just something they don't want to share or something they don't want to discuss. But a person that's secretive, this goes beyond just sharing little information that you ask for.
Right.
This goes into almost every area of their life. They're secretive.
Right.
They have ill will. They are intentionally doing things that are going to tear down or withhold or hurt somebody, because ultimately that's what happens when you withhold something. You run the risk of hurting someone, and like Devon said, you sabotage yourself.
You sabotage, absolutely. And we have a few, like Bim said, to feel comfortable to share your relationship, it must be a safe place.
It has
absolutely.
to be.
It has to be. There's no negotiation, especially if you're engaged or if you're married. There's a difference between being secretive and being private, which we'll go over in a minute.
Yes.
Because there is a difference. However, it shouldn't be any limits. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to share or divulge information to your husband or your wife. But to be honest, some things isn't relevant. Some things isn't like, okay, who's the first person you kissed? Or who was the, how many
people have you
how
laid
many
down with
now if you got the
yesterday?
abundance, now if you out here,
that's not your business.
But if you out here and you know that the whole football team, you know what I'm saying? So there's certain information.
But that's something you have to be willing to share.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to, but that thing can come back and
bite you in the butt.
You go to
especially
a barbecue.
If you at your kids' game, right?
And they like, hey,
and
Keisha.
they like, hey, girl.
Hey, Keisha.
And everywhere y'all go, somebody like, what up, girl?
Right,
like, you know what I'm talking about? What up? You might want to share that bit of information that you might have. Right. Been a little bit promiscuous in your past. I don't know.
And that's use your judgment. That's up to your discretion. However,
if that person is invested in having a real relationship with you. If it's somebody y'all just kicking it and he just taking you to Applebee's.
There's levels to this, right?
We ain't sharing that information. Yes. You ain't privy to it. I'm sorry. I'm not being secretive. It just ain't your business.
Right. And you, like we said, babe, use your discretion.
Right.
If it's something that's heavy on your heart and you feel that God wants you to do that, or your internal voice is saying, get some closure to this, you do it.
Yes.
So really use at your discretion, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Make the decisions that you feel comfortable, or have those discussions, or disclose or divulge or let people into the world. Yes.
Jeremiah.
What did he say?
Jeremiah said, a relationship with a secretive person is a setup for a future struggle.
Absolutely.
And that is the
100. And that's why we're doing what we're doing.
It's the truth.
And the whole premise of this talk, of this conversation tonight, babe, and you guys, is that let's try to be less secretive.
Yes.
Let's try
not to be secretive
at all. Because why?
At all.
Because we're trying to build healthy and secure relationships. And guess what? Lying precedes secrets. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what happens. So when you're secretive, a lot of times you start to lie.
Yeah.
And lie, what does lying do? It destroys the trust in your relationship.
It does. It tears it all down.
Right. It makes you feel insecure as a woman or as a man. it brings about uncertainty.
It does.
And also suspicion. Mm-hmm. When we're being secretive or we're not being honest. So we want to encourage you all that if you're in a marriage, you know what?
Or in a relationship.
Or in a relationship, period. And you really you love this person. Stop hiding things from them.
And being secretive can become addictive.
Right.
Especially if you get away with it one time. You like, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm just going ahead and tell her this, or I'm gonna go ahead and tell him that. Because you've gotten away with it.
Right.
But not realizing you destroying all the foundation that you guys have built, if you built it.
Right.
You destroying it. You're hurting the other person. And really, do you want to hurt the other person that you really truly love?
Right.
Like, who wants to do that?
And I know it's painful to be vulnerable. Mm-hmm. When it's not an easy thing to be vulnerable, because it's like you're out there and you're just naked.
Yeah.
And you're exposing the scars that you don't want anybody to see.
Yeah,
you know, like we talked about the reasons. One of the reasons why people don't share information is because they can be embarrassed or shamed about some of the things that they dealt with or some of the things that they've done. Because some people have been locked up and been to prison or have a record, but they're a new person. So it's hard to come out without being judged or feeling judged. When you meet somebody, not meet somebody, but when you're in a monogamous, strong relationship, heading toward marriage or being married, it's hard for you to say, you know what, I did do credit card scams. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I got a record, but if you get pulled over and they're like, you got a warrant for your and you like your spouse is looking like, what do you mean? You got a warrant? Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. I robbed a bank back in 2004. Now I'm in prison. Then you got babies together. Now daddy's gone and he's doing 10, 20 years. Now you left without a dad and a husband. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it leaves you. Let's try to stop the secrets, okay, guys? And because not the because we have past and current secrets, right?
Because when you're secretive, it's a character flaw.
Right, it is.
It's not. That's not something that you just do. Like you. That's a part of you. That's right. It's embedded in you. A secretive person is literally intentionally like withholding all truth.
Right.
Or or omitting the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or
like,
some,
or some of
right.
the truth.
Right.
They only gonna tell you a little bit.
Right.
They might be open, but they not 100% honest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can ask them, but they ain't telling you the truth about it. They not honest about it. We can discuss it, but I'm only going to tell you a little bit.
Right. And trust is one of the pillars of a healthy relationship.
It is.
When you don't have trust, really, guys, you don't have anything.
Right.
And when insecurity is present when there's an absence of trust.
Absolutely.
Uncertainty is present when there's an absence of trust.
Right.
Like I said, suspicion, pain, a lot of things, a lot of emotional issues could happen when you don't have that trust, because trust is the bridge that we all want to cross. Absolutely. And you always want to feel like the person that you lay down with at night, you can be safe with.
Right.
So when we have a lot of secrets, and some of you might think they're petty. However, every time we be secretive, we're burning that bridge. We're taking down a brick from that bridge, and the more we do it, then you got that insecure wife or insecure husband. And you, when they ask you a question, you're like, what, why you on me? Because you keep lying, because you're not being honest. When somebody call you, hiding your phone.
Oh.
You're on Facebook at night, and then you don't, you know what I'm saying? Or we haven't made love in 3 months. What's going on?
Every time your phone rings, you walk away.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's just those little things like that people don't even realize that they do, because they're so used to doing them that they don't even pay attention.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Toya said, "What about Amazon purchases?"
Toya,
see, no, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit. But
that would be me.
But here we go.
Sometimes you gotta hide them in the garage.
No, that is not true.
That's
do not do that, because we're gonna talk about the progression of secrets.
Yes.
The progression of secrets, and that's not a good thing either. However, let's kind of hit on the difference between being secretive and private. Right? Okay. Can you share about being private?
Yes. Like, so being private, when a person is private, it really only involves like a certain group of people. Like, so if I don't share something with you because I'm private, like our relationship, it's private. It's not a secret.
Right. Good, baby. That's good, honey.
It's just private. Like, it only involves us. It only involves the people in this house. Or like when you tell your kids, like when they going over their friend's house, you don't discuss what goes on in my house, because my home is private, okay?
Right.
What goes on here is our business. What goes on there is their business.
Right.
So you just have to know the difference between the two. It's not a secret. It's not a secret that you withholding from your friends that you're not going to discuss what's going on in my home.
Right, honey.
But it's private. Our relationship is private. It's not your business if we had a bad day last week.
Right.
If we argued this morning, it's not your business. Why would I share that with you? What does it do for you? Right? What would it do for you?
Right.
So that's privacy. That's being private. That's keeping our business between us, because it doesn't have anything to do with you.
Right.
And then a person that's, like I said, is secretive is literally being intentional about withholding something from someone.
Right.
Knowing that it will affect that person, knowing that it involves that person.
Right.
They intentionally withhold the information, or they intentionally withhold whatever it is that they're withholding that may affect the other person.
Right.
Us being private,
Right.
it
That's
doesn't
different.
affect
That's different.
anyone else.
Yeah.
It's just us.
Right. And speaking of private, the question might be asked,
Yes.
you know, should people have privacy in their relationship?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And for those that are clingy, you know, and you know, it's like, hey, we won, you know, we're one. Everything, where you go, I go. You take a sip, I take a sip. You know, we're doing everything together.
Everything.
I understand that, but in your although we are one, we are two.
Yes.
And there should be some level of autonomy, you know, and personal space in a relationship.
Yes.
So we're not implying that you should be tell everything, be everywhere. No, because you do need a level of privacy.
Absolutely.
You know, so like for instance, you know, if your husband or your wife have never shown any signs of cheating or anything that could cause you to feel a certain way, there's no reason for you to say, hey, give me all your passwords to your phone,
Right.
your Facebook. I need to know who you're talking to. I need to know where you're going. You know, that's insecurity. You know, and on the other note, of course, a lot of times insecurities are pushed on people due to their spouses or their partner's actions.
Yes.
But I'm not talking about people that have actually caused that insecurity.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, you got to give people a level of privacy to where you're not always on their heads.
Yeah.
Like,
or
yeah.
when you're out with your friends, right?
Yes.
Because I hang out with my girls all the time.
Yeah.
I don't come home and share with Steve what me and my
Right,
friends talk
right.
about. That's private.
But some people say, no,
But some people-
you're my husband, my wife, you got to share everything with
The
me.
devil is a liar.
No.
If I feel like sharing it with him, I will. But if I don't feel like it's
Right.
something he needs to know,
Right.
he ain't gonna know.
Right,
So my
right.
homegirls, they know.
Right.
What they tell me is what they tell me. Steve's ears are not
Right.
privy
and it's
to
not,
it.
I don't want to know, right?
Unless you want to tell them.
Right.
Because that's your business.
Right.
It ain't mine. It's yours.
Right.
So if you share something with me, just know I'm probably going to the grave with it because
Right.
it ain't my business to share.
Right, and we do share. We share almost
Sometimes.
pretty much everything.
Sometimes.
But when there's sensitive discussions, particularly between you and some of your girlfriends,
Yes.
that's none of my business.
That's none of his
You know,
business.
unless there was a major concern and we needed to intervene, or
Absolutely.
we needed to do something, and that
Absolutely.
person was okay. That's different. That's different. However, we need to learn how to, of course, be one but be separate. So we need some level of autonomy.
We
right?
do. We do.
Right.
We do.
Nakia,
and
hey.
you know what? Sometimes, like growing up as believers, they don't tell you that, right? They be like, y'all won. Everything that involves you involves her, and everything that involves her involves you. It does to a certain extent.
Yes.
But you still came into this world as an individual. When you cried out, you cried by yourself when you came out of your mother's womb.
Right.
He wasn't sitting there, okay?
Right.
So sometimes when you have things that you need to keep within yourself, or sometimes you have conversations with people
Right.
that they don't need to know about,
Right.
it is okay.
Right.
Like
right.
he don't need to know everything.
Right.
He don't need to know what my girlfriend told me
Right.
when we was at her house chilling. That ain't
Right.
your business, sir.
Yeah.
Don't
yeah.
even ask. He ain't gonna ask.
Right.
But
I
sometimes
don't want to know, like
exactly. But
you know, like,
sometimes
but some people want to know. You know,
some
everything.
people want to know
They wanna
everything. Why do you want to know? You not
Yeah.
my girlfriend. What I need to tell you
Right.
all of that for?
And we shouldn't guilt one another into because of our relational status. You know, you're my wife. What do you mean? You know, and just for the record, this should be the closest relationship that you have
Absolutely.
between your partner. I mean, you doing life together. You know, nobody else is coming and sleeping with you at night. Nobody else is. Well, anyway. But it shouldn't be that way. You know, nobody else have your back like your husband or wife should. It should be that way, right? So we're not implying that You shouldn't share. You should always, that should be your partner. You should share pretty much everything that you can. However, we're talking about some level of privacy, not secretive, not being secretive, but being private in your life. Have your own personal life, right?
Yes, having your own
get your life, like
life.
Tamar says. Why don't you get your own life?
Yeah, because because if you have a portion of your own life, you won't be too concerned about what that other person is doing, because I trust this person. So I don't need to know the conversations that you and your friends have when y'all out together. That's your business. Now, if you feel like that's something that you want to discuss when you come home, by all means, we can talk about it. Right. But I'm not going to ask you, because it ain't my business. Right. If your homeboy wanted to tell me, he would have told us. Right. But he didn't.
Yeah, and a lot of the questions do stem from suspicion.
Yes.
That's why it's important for us in relationships to be open and honest, to where you don't have to worry about if he's going to the gym, or if he, if he's going to come home tonight.
Right.
Or if she's going over a homegirl's house, but she end up at the club, and you watching the kids, she come in after hours knowing that ain't what she's supposed to be doing. So I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, you need that tight-knit relationship.
Absolutely.
But that's developed through openness and honesty, and not having this continual secretive lifestyle, and having those things, even in your past, catch up to where they have to learn. So it's like compounded. It's like, you have one issue, and then that level of trust goes down. Then you got to try to rebuild that. Then it's knocked down again because of something that you've done in your past, or something that you're doing now. Then you progress a little bit, and then you're hiding your phone again, and then that Amazon, like PB said, that's the road seed of destruction come in. And then, and we want to talk, you know what, let's talk about that.
That hair come in, and you be like, let me put this up. I'm going to put this in the car.
And we have a lot. I want to read a few of the comments, babe, because I want to
put this box in the car so he don't see it when he get home, because he ain't going to check my trunk.
Yes. PB said mutual individuality. Absolutely.
It is so important. Right. Like, it's so important to have your own portion of your life, even though we're doing life together.
Right.
And I'm sorry, because as believers, we don't get that. Nobody tells you that. It's like an epiphany. Like, I need my own space. I'm a person.
Right.
Like, I need my own time. I'm a person.
Yeah.
I can't be wrapped up in you all day long. I'm a person. Right. I'm a human. This ain't gonna last.
Right. Who wants that? That can get boring.
If we got to do this like this for the rest of our lives. Just me and you and me.
Right.
It's gonna get old. Right. We need friends.
Yeah.
You need to go. You need to go play basketball. I need to go get my nails done and my hair done. I need to go have wine with my girlfriends. Yeah. You need to go hang out with your guy friends. Like, we need to get away from each other, because it is so important that we remain individuals, although we are one.
And that's when you should ask your question. This question: why isn't it okay? Why? And on the flip side, people are totally opposite. Like, they don't even feel that they should be together and be partners. You got to have balance, but you need to ask yourself, why won't you allow your lady to do this? Could it be because of your own insecurities, or could it be that you don't trust them, or they did something, or there was an act that they might have committed that caused you to be a little suspicious or be a little insecure? But sometimes you're just insecure, doggone it.
Yeah, just say it.
And they've done nothing to show you that they're being unfaithful, or that they're not committed to you. But that's the whole premise of this talk, guys, is to don't be secretive, and build that level of trust to where you have the best relationship that you can have.
Yes.
So, because a lot of people they don't trust who they're with. And when that trust is gone, you have nothing. So we just want to encourage you, if you hear, if you have to have conversations, if you have to disclose certain information that you didn't before, have those hard talks.
Yeah, and if you got to go back and have certain conversations.
Yes.
If you got to revisit certain things.
Yes, absolutely.
It's okay. Yes. It really is. Especially if you've already established a relationship and you got to have certain conversations. It's like, really, you know me, I know you. I didn't mean it this way. I just didn't feel like it was relevant. Right. Steve and I literally had a conversation this morning about something from 16 years ago. And it's like, really, at that time, I didn't feel like that was relevant. It had nothing to do with you. Right. So it wasn't me being secretive, or even, I don't want to say withholding information. What would you say?
It was.
I withheld. I did. I withheld information because it wasn't relevant to me, but
when you
it
think
was
about
very relevant to him.
But not necessarily just relevant. It was relevant for our relationship.
Yes.
Overall, but when you're younger and you're immature, you don't think of these things.
Because it's like, that was nothing. What are you talking
because
about?
some
Who cares?
things could come back on you, especially if you don't talk about it or have that open dialogue, and then you hear something, and then you're like, wow, I've asked you that in the past, and you told me no, or you told me yes, and therefore, who am I laying with? Who am I with? No, I'm not talking about you, honey.
Dang,
you know what I'm
was
saying?
Deep.
But who am I? Who are you? And especially when you got so many secrets, it's like, man, I'm with an imposter. Like, who are you? You got how many babies out there?
Yeah.
You got how much debt?
Yeah.
I mean, you was a hooker. You was a man. I mean, nowadays, nowadays, so it's like
you never know.
that whole foundational solid rock that you thought you had has now diminished.
Yeah,
you
weakened, like pulled a rug from underneath someone, and that's not okay. It's not fair. It's not fair to the other person, especially if you love the other person.
Yeah.
If your relationship is built on love.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't want someone to do it to you, so why would you do it to the other person?
Right.
Especially if you love them. I would never want to see him hurt, like, ever. I would never want to see any action of mine to tear him down or to bring him to his knees or to make him sad or to make him cry or anything like that. So everything I do it in love, because I always think about that. Like, I will want somebody to do that for me. I will want you to be honest with me. I will want you to be truthful with me. I will want you to be forthcoming with me, because I know how the opposite end of it could be. I know how it feels to not be, for someone to tear down your trust. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody to strip you of your honesty, or to strip you of believing what they say because they weren't honest,
Right. And Sister Terry said this a long time ago. He said, if he's for me, he has to take me, flaws and all. I believe anyone who can't be real with their significant other should question whether they should be together. Absolutely. And that's how it should be. And I don't know if you were on a little earlier, Sister Terry, but we talked about some of the reasons why people don't really, share information, and one of them is because of embarrassment, or they might feel that they lose the person that they're with. It's not just I'm not justifying it, but these are some of the things that we deal with. Will I be judged?
That was so good. Toya said losing all of yourself is a recipe for self-destruction. It is.
Yeah.
And a lot of times as believers, that's what we do, right? Because we're not taught any other way.
If you're for the record,
everybody on here ain't believers. And I don't care about that, right? Because
or your religious beliefs,
I don't care what your religious beliefs are. The fact is that sometimes we give ourselves, and we don't take ourselves. We give ourselves so much to that other person that we forget about ourselves, and that's just not okay. Because at the end of the day, it's like a ticking time bomb. You can only give so much.
Absolutely.
Like for me, I remember when we first got together, I was going to be a wife and I was going to be a mother, and those things were super awesome, right? And then it was 10 years later, and I was like, it got to be more to life than being a wife and a mother. I got to get out of this house. There's something else, because being his wife, although it is good, it ain't good enough. You know what I'm saying? So it was a recipe for self-destruction.
Right.
And I'm so grateful that I found myself.
Right. Me too. Shoot, 'cause you was
I was a ticking time. I was literally a ticking time bomb waiting to explode, because I was no longer satisfied within myself.
Right.
So we can't do that, right? We can't put everything into that person, because we lose ourselves, and then we just become invaluable. Like, what are you to yourself?
Right. And I know we kind of, we took a
Shifted,
turn
sorry.
in terms of privacy, but we're talking about, for those that are just now getting on, we're talking about secrets. And at this point, we're pretty much discussing the difference between being secretive and being private.
Right.
So we do need that level of privacy.
We absolutely
There's a few
need
comments
privacy.
here, babe. Jeanette says, yes, we need our separate space sometimes for each other. Absolutely. Yeah.
Everyone is entitled to a private life. Being in a relationship requires a special level of intimacy. The secrets you reveal should be beneficial to how your relationship will develop.
Absolutely, Gabby.
Gabby, that is so good. That
point.
Is so true.
That is absolutely
so very true, Gabby.
Yes.
So very true.
Yes, and I don't want to leave anybody. There was a certain Nakia had learning how to separate the two. Yeah, separate the two. Or learning how to separate the two. Yes, absolutely. Yep. So let's move on because we only got a few more minutes here, and we thank you all for your engagement. We're not going to go long today.
We promise we won't.
No, we'll be done. For those that are new, welcome to Date Night. We're talking about secrets in regards to romantic, and also marital, primarily marital relationships, because sometimes you can be in a committed relationship. And, I'm not saying you don't share certain things, but when you're married is another level to me.
Absolutely.
When you're married, I think that that's something that's the highest level of commitment to where it shouldn't be nothing unturned. That you should be able to
not to say that it's always that way.
Oh no. Right. In terms of like being open and honest, if you can, if there's relevancy
we were married when
in your
we came up
relationships.
When I withheld some information from Steve. We were married. We were good and married a good year and a half, and he was just like, really? Why wouldn't you tell me that?
Right.
And I was just like, I didn't feel like it was necessary for me to tell.
Right. But in hindsight, I mean, now do you think that it was necessary?
Absolutely. It was definitely.
Do you see how it could have affected our progress or something that we were building? If maybe later on we might have had these discussions and, and then I found out that you wasn't 100% honest with me.
Absolutely.
That they're not, and this is, we're not saying that people are perfect.
No.
And to be honest, everybody done did a white lie, done denied something or made some, you lied.
Yeah.
So I'm not implying that everybody's perfect and we're going to dot every I and cross every T.
And that's okay because that's between you and your spouse and you and your partner. It ain't got nothing to do with the world and nobody else. That ain't our business.
Right.
That's y'all private conversation. That's y'all private information. And I think that everybody else should just back off. Like, that ain't your business, what we got going on.
Right.
This is our private business.
Yeah.
But if you being secretive...
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, because because
it ain't right.
And you gotta ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want a wife or husband nagging you, every day about like where you're going, or they're giving you the side eye every time you go to the gas station, or when you have a conversation on the phone, they're really they got their ear behind the door trying to see who you talking to, or they're sneaking into your Facebook at night, and things like that.
Ladies and gentlemen. If you feel the need to be secretive, why get in a relationship?
Man, oh man.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
How about why commit to somebody?
You're not ready.
Why do you commit to somebody if you're not really like genuinely ready to be with them? To really just be honest, to be open, to tell the truth.
Yes.
Like, because you're wasting your own time.
Absolutely.
And all you're doing is making it hard for the next person that's going to deal with that individual. That's not fair.
It's so unfair. And a lot of times the bad part about it, and just on not the flip side, but you have certain scenarios to where a person is so damaged. They get into a relationship with an amazing man or an amazing woman, and you sabotage that relationship due to your damaged goods, due to the baggage and the insecurities that you brought into that relationship. So you looking for things that you probably never, ever going to find. And that person get tired of you harassing them or breathing down their neck or accusing them for things that they have never done. And then they get tired and they just want to leave.
Like, because I know that's how men are. Like, no, boo-boo, that's just the man that you experience. Not all men are like that.
Right.
Like, not all men cheat. Not all men are liars. Not all men are dogs. Like, just because that's what you experience, that's your experience.
Right.
Give somebody the benefit of the doubt.
Right. You got to. It's a chance.
Be patient. You have to give people a chance. Somebody gave your butt a chance.
That's right.
And you wasn't no none when they married you.
Right.
So stop
all
acting.
up on that pole.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so stop acting like you was holier than thou and everything you had was good.
Right.
Because it wasn't.
Right. None of us are saints.
For real. I wasn't no saint.
None of us are nuns. All of us have things. We have skeletons.
Listen.
We have things, right, that we have regrets.
Yes.
You know?
And we have to live with them.
Yeah.
We do. We have to live with them. But just know that when somebody shares something with you, they trust you.
Yeah.
So don't use it against them.
Right. So and don't
use that information that someone shares with you because they feel like you have their best interests at heart.
Right.
They really feel you. They really like you. Don't use it against them.
Right.
Don't make it a weapon. Mm-hmm. Don't whoop them with it every chance you get because they were honest. They were open enough to share it with you and then you punish them for it. That's not cool. Like, that's not cool, guys. Don't do that.
Absolutely.
Don't do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because people do it all the time.
Right. And this is like, and I hate to keep going back to it, but we just want to encourage them, to try to make less mistakes.
Yes.
Try to be as open and honest as you can in your relationship because probably half of us, not you.
Yes.
We have issues that we need to overcome, or some of us on here have trust issues, but you got to ask yourself, how could I repair the bridge? Where did the gap happen? Mm-hmm. What are the actions that cause me the divide? Because we trust one another before. So what is the thing or things that I've done to have that distrust to enter in, or what am I doing to broaden that gap? So we want to encourage you all, like, start today. Start today. Maybe just having a conversation, or maybe, I don't want to say admitting anything, or just share something with your spouse that could say, wow, I didn't know that about you. And
don't always take mama's advice when she tell you all men are dogs. All men cheat, baby. No, all men don't. All men aren't dogs. All men, don't have, horrible skeletons in their closet that are going to keep there forever and you're never going to find out. Like, don't base your relationship off of what you saw mama's relationship be like, and because mama, dealt with a whole bunch of dogs that you know what I'm saying? You start to check your men like mama did. Let me see your phone. Where you been?
Right.
Where was you at?
Right.
You said you was going to the store. It only take 10 minutes. You was gone 20. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we really base our relationships on just what we saw.
Right.
Just what we
most of the time.
Yeah, a lot of the times it's all based on.
That molds our perception.
It really
that molds
does.
our hearts and our mindsets due to the experiences, what we saw or what we've experienced, whether directly or indirectly. Absolutely.
And we can't base our relationships on that. You have to give people. You got to give people a chance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If they screw that chance over, that's on them. But don't base it on what somebody else's initial reaction is to a relationship.
Right.
Like my mama said, well, your mama ain't always picked the right man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I know she's your hero, and I know he's your hero, but that hero got some scars, and it is what it is. And I always think of I have a perception or idea about heroes. If you can't disagree with your hero, they're not your hero, they're your masters. And the reality is that we only have one master and one that's flawless, and that's the Almighty God. So some people have a lot of strong points, but a lot of people have blind spots.
Yes,
so
we all do.
we can't idolize. We can have models, of course.
Right.
But
of course.
every model have a flaw. Every system could have
that's
malfunction.
Why it's always a second model.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't never buy the first one, right?
Yeah. Oh man.
Because it's always something they figure out along the way. So just remember that. Like, it's always something. Like, you're gonna grow. Like, as you go, you're gonna grow. Like, in the first year might be a little rough. You might deal with a little issues, and you might, you got to work through some things. But that second year, it might be a little bit smoother than the last.
Through the test, everything has a testing process.
Everything went through the little testing stage, and now that head gasket works a lot better.
Right. The
now
recall, you got to get recall. A lot of you get recall.
and that's okay. Like, that's okay.
It's okay. Yeah,
we all been there.
Absolutely, and
we all done that.
And we're still doing better.
And no relationship is perfect. No relationship is going to be just smooth. Everything's smooth sailing.
No,
everything was just wonderful, perfect. Because you a lie.
Right.
Because you a lie, because you know she get on your nerve.
Right, right.
You know you want to call somebody and tell them that she get on your last nerve or that he get on your last nerve. Like, so everything ain't always smooth sailing. I don't care how much love there is in a relationship.
Right.
I love my husband.
Yeah.
But he get on my gosh darn nerves sometimes.
Ooh,
and we love each other.
Girl.
And I get on his.
I ain't buying you nothing this month.
Listen, I get on this man's nerve, okay? He have to tell me all the time, like, why would you say that like that? I'm sorry. You know how many times I say I'm sorry in a day? I didn't mean to say that like that. Like,
yeah, because
listen,
you be wrong. Say it again.
I do.
I be wrong.
Listen, I be wrong sometimes. I'm okay with that. I don't
Just
got no
kidding.
problem
Just
with
kidding.
that.
Nobody.
That ain't no secret. I be wrong sometimes.
All of us are wrong sometimes. And can we just read a few more
Okay,
comments
I'm sorry.
and then we're going to end this?
Y'all know
I just want to talk
rants.
about. We just need 5 more minutes, and I just want to share this concept and
I
idea.
think I got ADD. I have ADD. I don't have ADHD because I'm not hyper. Sometimes, but I got ADD. My attention span is very short. I got 2 good minutes, and then I'm on somewhere else. I'm off somewhere else. Okay.
The
sorry.
kid said you are an amazing woman. Thank you, sis. No, that was a compliment. You laughed. She said you're an amazing woman.
That was okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I try.
And
I'm
Brandy,
just being truthful.
Brandy said, "Keep your mama out your relationship."
Keep your dog on.
That's another.
Mama.
That's a whole nother date night.
God dang, my mama cool. Okay, she don't be in my business. I love her because she don't be in my business. But for real, keep your mama.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
And your
that's a whole date
aunties.
night. That's a whole nother date night about
Keep them out your business.
about family dynamics and in-laws, and that's a whole.
They will ruin your whole happy home.
Yes, but we talk about
Your
that
whole
later.
happy
We're talking
home.
about secrets.
Okay,
in a
we talking about
relationship.
secrets. Sorry, but keep them out.
But just a few more comments.
Okay.
I don't want to miss anybody. Jeanette said everyone deserves a fair chance. Absolutely, you are
That's
absolutely
so true,
right.
Jeanette. That's so true.
Toya, love you too. She says she'll see us next week. Sister Terry said after 43 years, my husband can have his own friends, do things without me, and have his own space. But he does not get to have a private life. Absolutely. Yes.
No,
absolutely.
your life ain't
100%.
private.
Yeah. No, not a private life. When we say private, we're talking about.
But you do get to have your own time.
Your own
space.
Yeah, there's a difference
to be
between
an individual.
Right. Yeah, to be an individual.
Like you don't have a private life.
Right.
Because your life ain't private because we together.
Right. And you
Ain't
made
no
you made an example about some of your friends, like not disclosing that information. That's private.
Yes,
You
that's
know, like,
private
if you're
information
talking
that
to
my friend gave to me.
Yeah, if your homegirl, you having a situation and
That's
she's
private
confiding
between the
in
two
you,
of us.
it's your responsibility as a friend to withhold her request and not
be
sharing it to.
trustworthy.
And we share a lot with one another. You know, if it's relevant, I mean, you know, come on, husbands and wives, we share a lot. Well, at least we do.
We do.
However,
We talk.
there are moments to where I would want her to keep that.
Yeah.
You know, if I talk to my buddy about something, I ain't about to tell my wife.
Because I'm
You know,
never
if
going
it's
to tell him
yeah.
something that may cause him to look at someone differently. Like you got to use wisdom, right? You have to know your spouse. And I know he's not going to ever. Steve is the least judgmental person that I've ever met in my whole entire life. Because I will judge your mammy. I will judge her too. Okay, but I'm just saying.
What?
I'm just saying, Steve is not judgmental. He isn't. He gives everybody room and space.
Preach.
But
Build
if
me
a
up.
friend of mine, and I have plenty of good girlfriends, and we share, I'm not going to come home and I'm not going to share those intimate things with my husband because that's their personal business.
Right.
And I would never want him to look at anybody differently.
Right.
Or I would never want him to even have that information because he shouldn't be privy to it.
Right.
Now, there are some things he should be privy to.
Absolutely.
If it's something that we can get in our prayer closet about and we can go before God about and we can bring down heaven about, that's something different.
Right.
But if it's something that is just their business that they wanted to share with me, one sister to
relational
another,
issues
you know
and things
what I'm
like
saying?
that. Yeah.
That's not his business unless they decide they want to call him and share with him.
Right.
And I got plenty of girlfriends that call my husband on all the time.
Bring some clarity to that. Bring some clarity.
No,
to that
I do.
now.
That
don't sound too right. Like they call
I
your
have
husband.
friends that call my husband because my husband is that type of person, and I'm okay with that. I don't ask.
Thanks, Nakia.
When they call him, I don't ask what they said because they wanted to share something with him that they felt comfortable enough to share with him. Like, and that's okay.
But that comes with time.
And it comes with trust.
And it comes with trust.
It comes with
and
trust.
it comes with a track record as well. So yeah. So thank you. I'm glad that, that you can, like your friend may call me about business, or like some of them call me a big brother, and they might need some guy advice.
Shamir
or big brother
is on here
advice.
right now. Shamir can call Steve anytime. He gonna pick up that phone. He gonna talk to her. They gonna go with whatever it is. They gonna discuss. That's their business. If he wants to share it with me, he will. But I'm not gonna wait up and say, "Baby, what you and Shamir talk about?" Because guess what? He gonna share it with me when he feels like it's the time to share it with me, and I'm okay with that because I trust this man.
And for the record, this isn't for everybody.
No, it's not. It's not.
Because here's the thing, and not to toot my own horn, for those that know me and those that are out there, I've never been a womanizer. None of y'all on here, you've never seen me in your inbox. People know that I honor my relationship, that I honor my wife. Just for context, or just to share that everybody can't do this.
No, of course not.
Everybody can't let their husband or man have conversations with their sister girls. And that's just real. But I'm glad that you do trust me enough to know that there's no foul play, and that I love you. And these women know that you're the closest and dearest person to my heart. Right. And so that's our life. Everybody can't do that. I would not advise. For the record, I would not advise this. Okay, I would not advise close relationships if you're married. Consistent close relationships with the opposite sex. Because things could happen. You know what I'm saying? So she's just sharing this, that there are moments in my life to where her friends might call me,
and that's okay.
Right. And we have the understanding,
because I don't have any insecurities here. I don't have any insecurities here, and I think that that's something like. What Sam say? I'm about to call and borrow $100 in a little while. But Sam, you already know this your brother. This your big brother. You can call him anytime, and I'm not gonna trip. Because that's the relationship y'all built. I'm not tripping on that. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, me and Shamir talk all the time.
Steve and most of my friends.
Well, not all the time. Not like every week or every day or nothing like that.
But it's nothing secretive. He's not intentionally holding any with information from me.
It's meaningful.
And it's meaningful conversation.
It's meaningful conversation, whether it's to solve some problems, whether it's to answer some questions, whether it's to, for advice, or just, or whatever, So, what did you think about? Did you see that? So, so just.
And these are people that we love.
Yeah.
Like, we love genuinely.
Right. It's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like alcohol. I would never encourage anybody to drink, because I know the results of heavy drinking can do to you. Mm-hmm. But if you're a casual drinker, that's up to you. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, so if you're in a monogamous relationship, if you have a significant other, I would not advise or motivate you to be talking to the opposite sex.
Listen, because I will call, if I want to call my brother Jeremiah, I'm going to call him.
Right.
And Steve ain't going to stop me from picking up the phone and calling Jeremiah.
That's true.
Jeremiah was the first person that knew
here's another
that
thing,
I was
babe. I don't know why we got into this, but these people
But those are not secrets.
But here's the thing, babe. These are our friends.
Right.
Not my friend. This is a whole nother discussion, but they aren't my friend.
Oh, yeah, because we don't have your friends.
No, can't
and
do
my
that.
friends.
Nope, sorry.
Of the opposite sex.
No.
They our friends.
No.
They our friends. So that's another story.
Right. Samantha said, and y'all know, if somebody call talking inappropriately, we are in her head.
It's going down.
Okay? Yeah, absolutely.
I think everybody know I'm crazy.
Absolutely. But babe, let's because I know that some people are jumping on now, but we promised that we wasn't going to be on here for like a long time. So
it's
just going to be a few minutes and we're going to be gone. However, I do want to talk about something that there's a in the good book. I know a lot of y'all read the good book.
Okay.
And the Bible talks about the small foxes that destroys the vine. Mm-hmm. And the little things, pretty much that analogy or that story was based on if you have a field, if you have a vineyard, what happens that if you have a big fox, he can come and he can get the fruit or whatever, take it, then leave, right? Because he can actually access it. But if the small foxes, if they can't reach what they need, they devour the whole foundation.
Oh, yeah.
So what that means is that a lot of little things that we don't think could affect us, they can destroy our whole relationships, right? So I want to kind of talk about the progression of secrets or lying, if you will. And I want to talk about there are petty secrets and there are things that can be problematic as well as painful.
Okay.
Now, we were talking about Amazon earlier, about like, hiding Amazon. And it may be little to you. And I understand.
Them packages in my trunk, they petty.
Right. And it depends on the individual.
They
but
real
like
petty.
little things, for instance, like this, babe, if a woman might have came on to me, or might have came on to you. And
Where
you might,
she at?
Right. But we might
Where's
say,
she at?
But see, you might think that it's nothing.
Where she at,
Right.
though?
But listen, you might think that it's nothing.
Okay.
Because you're not engaged. But you tell me, look, nobody ain't text me or inbox me. What are you talking about? But when I find out, it can really destroy our whole relationship. Because now I don't believe that it would. However, but that whole, I would be insecure.
Right.
I would question our connection because you wasn't totally honest to me. Or even with spending money or spending $1,000 or a few $100s, it may be little to you, but the reality that thing can be very big, to me. Because
Sorry,
it's
y'all,
not
I'm
the level of lying. It's just that you wasn't truthful. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of things we lie about is petty, but it can cause insecurity. It can cause arguments and friction in your relationships that you could have avoided if you would have just said, you know what? Okay, I didn't go to the grocery store. I went to go and hoot with my boys. You know what I'm saying? Or, I really did. My ex-boyfriend did inbox me. You know what I'm saying? Little things that we may not think that's little petty things that can become problematic in our relationships. And they can be a progression from pettiness to problematic to very painful. And then we'll find ourselves in the counseling office fighting. And now we hate one another from this one little small secret. The petty things, having secret bank accounts. And you may not think, mama might have said, you know what, separate your money. And that's a learned behavior.
What your mama always say, baby, don't let the right hand
know what the left hand is doing. Right. And so we're just talking about, and I'm not, and some things will fly in relationships. I'm not saying like in our relationship, if you buy something from Amazon, babe, I might be like, man, if you be like, I only bought one thing and I find out it's two, I might not trip, but if some people might have trust issues and then that can just ignite the other issues or validate their suspicion or their false accusations or perceptions that they have about you because it was something very little, but really they're projecting their insecurities on you. Yeah. So we got to be very careful, and it may be petty to you, but it could be big to that person, right? And it can cause arguments, and then it can be very problematic, So, and I know we may think it's no big deal, but we got to watch it. We just really got to watch it, because like even with money, your brother may come to you and say, you know what, sis, hey, I'm going through right now, can you let me hold $150? And that we're in covenant when it comes to our finances, and we have a certain principles in the way we do things. But then you give them the money without confiding or consulting me, at least, right? And then when I ask you, and you be like, no, I didn't do it. Although it was little to you because you're helping your brother out, but it can cause major chaos in our relationship because now it's not just about trust, but it's about disrespect. Right. And now I'm looking at you like you dishonor me. And all you have to do is just tell me or talk to me about it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we need to watch out for some of the small things that we do in our relationships that can actually create or destroy our whole vines, right? Whole vineyards.
It's a lot of comments on here. Samantha said, the small lies add up and can cause big problems because it shows a lack of honesty and integrity.
Absolutely.
That is so very true.
And there's a buildup. Like I remember we made a joke, baby, about you'll spend some money and then you spend $10. And you won't think it's a big deal.
I'm the $10 queen, okay?
And I'm like, babe, you don't spend
$20.
$110 in the last 3 days. So it could become a problem.
It was just $9.99. It's fine. It's just it's fine. It's $9.99. Yes, and he'd be like, honey, do you know that $9.99 has equaled up to $199.99 because you didn't spend it 20 times?
Yes, you didn't tell me. I looked at the bank account and it's
and I'd be like, I didn't think about that.
You didn't tell me about that 40.
It was $99. It was $9.99. I didn't think about that.
And it's okay for us, but that can be very problematic in other people's relationships, right?
Let's see. And then she said, or if you've been expressing it, it's important to save money right now, and you find out she's hiding packages, then it can become a big problem. It can become a very big problem. It really can. It really can. And sometimes as women, we be like, it ain't no big deal. It's just a package, right? Because we don't feel like it's something big. Oh, that's dumb. Why you getting mad about that? It's just something little. It's
Absolutely.
It's just a wig. It's just it's just a wig grip. That's me, right? It's just a necklace, right? It's just a pair of spandex, right? But those things keep adding up. And then if you have a goal in mind, you keeping us you making the goal further and further away because you keep spending those little $10. Those the little small foxes. Those little $20. Those little small foxes. They tearing at the vine. They breaking it down. They destroying it. And then all of a sudden it's going to crumble. And you're going to be looking like, what's going on?
And a lot of times we be like, you crying about $10. Ooh. No, it's not the $10. You see the progression? The petty, the little stuff that we think that's fine, but really it's not about the $10. Like Samantha just says, yes, honor and honesty goes hand in hand. So it's not just about lying. It's not about the Amazon. Have you ever had an argument? They be like, you talking about, it ain't even about that. Like you mad because I bought, it's only a purse. No, it ain't only a purse. That's not what we're having an argument about. You know, we're having an argument about.
It ain't the purse, it's the principle.
Right. And
remember people said it all the time, like, it's the principle.
It's the principle, and that's what it is. And it will fly in some. And,
we had an agreement.
Right. We had an agreement. There we go.
You know, we actually talked about it. We had an agreement. We're not going to spend any more money. We're going to save. We're going to do this. And then here you go.
Pulling up with a new car.
Oh, man.
Like, I thought we needed our credit. We was trying to get a house, but you done went out and bought a new car without telling me?
You done bought the kids.
Or you being secretive?
You done bought the kids a whole brand new wardrobe, and you done spent $1,500. And you didn't talk to me about it. Like, you didn't think that was worth talking to me about?
Right. And the reason why we're bringing this up, babe, and ladies and gentlemen, is because it may not be a problem for you, but it can be a major problem in other people's homes. Yeah. Right? And the reality, sometimes we argue about things we don't even know what we're arguing about. Right. You know, that one Amazon package can trigger hell. You know what I'm saying? So it's just important, guys. And it's not that we're not going to make mistakes. And your husband probably won't trip, because I don't trip, you know, like that, whatever. But in some of you guys' relationship, it can cause a lot of friction. You know, it can cause a lot of pain. It can be very problematic. So you got to ask yourself, what I'm doing, whatever I'm doing, will it actually affect, you know, my relationship?
And you don't know the dishonesty that person has already dealt with, right? You don't know the dishonesty that they dealt with in their previous relationship, or just the dishonesty that they've been dealing with in your current relationship. And they are trying to trust you again. Right. And you don't feel like it's no big deal. Like, it's $10. It's Amazon. Right. I ain't cheating.
Right. Ain't no big deal. She just inboxed me.
Yeah. Like,
no, right.
But when you
really find out, after she find out.
You know, it really is a big deal. Like, you don't even understand. It's that small fox. You just keep chewing. Like, you just going to keep on doing little stuff.
Absolutely. And it's our job to make our women feel secure. Yeah. You know, they shouldn't feel uncertain about our love or our commitment to them. Okay. You know, and some of the things that we do question our commitment, you know, for each other. You know what I'm saying? Or our honor or our respect for one another.
Can you give an example of that? What do you mean? I want to be sure I'm clear.
The things that we do can cause, like, we can interpret certain things certain ways. Okay. You know, so as a man, it's important that if your woman is dealing with if she's dealing with insecurity, even if you didn't put that on her, it is important that you be an open book as much as you can. Right. So, like, if your phone ring, you shouldn't go to the next room. Right. You know what I'm saying? If your Facebook is up, don't hurry up and try to shut it down so that your wife can't see it. Right. You know, when you go someplace, you know, you at least want to give honor to your wife and let her know where you're going. And don't go out with your boys and don't check in. You know what I'm saying? So it's our responsibility as men to let our women know that they're the only woman. Right. You know, that I'm yours. You know, baby, you ain't got to worry about it. You know, because it's we cultivate the woman. Really, security and certainty is really established by the man because we are the leaders of the home. I don't know how everybody else believe what you believe, but we kind of old school. We believe that we are partners, but at the end of the day, we know that God is looking at me, that I'm the head of my household, and I have to do my very best because God is going to look at me and he's going to judge me based on how I treat my family and what I do or how productive I am. So as men, it's whatever we got to do to make them feel secure, right? That's what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? And don't look at it as if, and maybe she is insecure, but help build that security up, affirm her.
And is she insecure because of you?
Yes, and that's the question. That's the question.
Is she insecure because you lied?
Right.
Is she insecure because you haven't been trustworthy?
Yeah. So
is she insecure because?
But you got me on fire now. Go ahead.
You out here DMing people that you shouldn't be DMing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You out here having conversations that you shouldn't be having.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You out here texting people you shouldn't be texting. You out here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why is she insecure? Really?
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Is it you that have caused it?
Right. And here's the thing, babe, we always talk about when that trust is broken, you are responsible for doing whatever it takes to build that bridge. You're going to have to kiss some, know what, because now it's your turn.
Mm-hmm. And don't be talking about it's too hard.
No.
She's so hateful. What did you do to cause it though? Yeah. What did you do to make her that way?
Or him that way.
Or make him that way.
You're right, Pastor Williams said, and the woman should also.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right.
Yes.
What did we do?
Yeah.
What did we do?
Right.
Like, take responsibility. Don't be like, she just like this. He just like.
Right.
No, he just insecure.
Right.
No, you made him.
Right. Why is your husband insecure?
You made her that way.
Right. Why?
You did it. You did it. And yes, it could have been some things in her past that added to it. But you put the stamp on it because currently she's in a relationship with you. And if you ain't been no good, it's your problem.
Absolutely.
It's your problem.
Absolutely.
Because you committed to that relationship. Yeah. That's what you said.
And it's our responsibility. Trust is not given. It is not given. It is earned.
It is earned.
So once the trust in your relationship is broken, you have to take the necessary steps to rebuild that trust. And sometimes she's going to act a fool. And a lot of times, men, we say she crazy. The question is, why is she crazy? Did you make her crazy? Why is she checking your cell phone? Why is she checking your car? Why is she questioning you? Why is he questioning you? Why is he asking you why you got on that short skirt? What do you do to strip that trust or to cause them to be insecure? So we got to have these hard questions. We got to ask ourselves these hard questions because a lot of times we be like, she crazy, he crazy, Why is he crazy? Of course, a lot of times it's not just you, but what responsibility did you have, or what do you can contribute to their insecurities that you now should help to bring them back to their
When we first got
state.
together, I had to ask myself, 2 years in the game, 3 years in the game, well, what did I do that made this man not trust me?
Right.
Oh, I omitted the truth.
Right. And on top of my
that's all it is. Like, I omitted the truth.
Yeah.
You did it. Yeah. Like, so at this moment, you got to take responsibility for it. If he asks you 7 times where you going, what you doing, who you talking to, that's your problem.
Right.
You created it.
Right.
You deal with it.
Yeah.
Because you did it.
Right.
Like, you did it. Take ownership. Take responsibility. I can't be like, oh, he just crazy. He just mad, insecure. No, sweetheart.
Yeah, that's right, Nakia.
What you do?
Yeah.
What you do?
Right. And of course, sometimes it takes hard work. And sometimes people are not willing to stay the course to build that bridge.
Yeah.
But you should. If you hurt or you did something that could cause them to not trust you or whatever it might be, do whatever you can. And understand that now you got to be a doormat probably for a second. Just for a second. I'm not saying you got to be that forever because sometimes he said he's sorry. He proved himself.
Little bit.
So 5 years, 10 years down the line, you're going to keep on blaming him for the things that he redeemed himself from? No, you can't do that. So we're not implying that you beat some, because sometimes you got to get over it. But we're just saying that if you've caused the problem. Now you have to be the doctor and do whatever it takes to try to fix that thing.
To fix it.
You know, to give them space. Give them space. Right. They're going to yell. They're going to kick.
Yep.
You know, that woman is crazy. You know, but guess what? If you cause her you put a little crazy on her, or you contribute to that craziness, now you got to have the patience and be the hero to help to restore her back to that place that you would desire her to be, because it is achievable, but we're not willing to do it. It is attainable, but we don't have the patience to sustain ourselves or have the self-discipline to do what it takes to make things work. So that's what we want to encourage you guys when we're talking about secrets. So the whole, like we said, the whole premise is that, look, if you're in a relationship, don't keep secrets. Don't be secretive, right?
And don't it suck more to be not trusted?
Right.
Don't it?
Yeah. The home is crazy when you're not. Who wanna be worried like that at night?
Who wants that?
And tortured?
Who wants to lie in bed with somebody that don't trust them?
Yes.
And then try to get some from a cold body.
Ooh-wee.
Who wants that?
Right.
Like, so why don't you just act right? Like, why don't you just get it together? Why don't you just be right? What's so lame about being honest?
Right.
Like, I thought that was stand up.
Yeah.
Like, I can trust my husband. I think that's amazing.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a stand up person, like a stand up individual, like a stand up human being, like a stand up creature. Like, nothing's wrong with that.
And here's the truth, babe, is that your character is not defined by what you do some of the time. Is by what you do most of the time. Yep. So all of us are flawed. You know, all of us, none of us do everything perfectly. But if you're doing the wrong thing most of the time, that's going to shape who you are. Mm-hmm. And that perception or that truth is going to be embedded in your spouse or your partner's mind. And therefore, she's going to react accordingly. You know, so it's important that we try to make these adjustments, you know, and it's about maturity. Yeah. You know, it's about acknowledging, you know, our real self, and also be willing to do what it takes to make the relationship work. Yeah. It's not about you changing who you are. It's about you changing some of your behaviors for the greater good.